Hello friends, this video on fractions part 10 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Now, since we are talking about equivalent fractions, it is important to know about the simplest form of a fraction. A fraction is said to be in its simplest form if its numerator and denominator have no common factor except 1. Now, let us look at some examples, then it will become clear. So, here we see some fractions. Let us look at each of them. Now, when you focus on the first fraction, which is 13 by 24. So, the numerator is 13 and the denominator is 24. Now, when you look at the different factors of 13, so what are the factors of 13? 1 and 13. What are the fractions of 24? So, for 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. So these are the fractions of 24. Now do you see common fractions between 13 and 24? So the only common fraction between them is 1. So except 1 there is no common factor. So what does that mean? That means that there are no common factor except 1. So if there is no common factor other than 1, that means this is in the simplest form. So this is the simplest form of this fraction. Whereas if you take some other example, for example, let's say we take the example of 36 by 20. So let us first write down the factors of 36 and 20. So 36 factors would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18 and 36. Similarly, let's write down the factors of 20. They would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. Now, do you see common factors between them? 1 is a common factor. 2 is also a common factor. 4 is also a common factor. That's it. So, even besides 1, other than 1 also, we have 2 other common factors, that is 2 and 4. That means this fraction is not in its simplest form. Right? Now, let's look at the third one. So, shall I leave the third fraction as an exercise to you? And I am sure you will be able to do it. So, very quickly try to compare the factors of 11 with the factors of 2 and you would see that there are no common factors except 1. So, this is also in simplest form. So, in this way, we can decide whether a fraction is in its simplest form or not. In fact, in the last slide, while I was discussing about equivalent fractions, now when I was cancelling the numerator and denominator, what I was actually doing was I was trying to convert the fraction into its simplest form. So now the question is, how do we express a fraction in its simplest form? So for this fraction, our first step would be to find out the HCF of numerator and denominator. HCF, that is highest common factor. We have already learned about HCF in one of our previous lessons, right? So let's do the same thing here. So the very first step would be to find out the factors of 36 and 20. So the factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18 and 36. Similarly, the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. So what are the common factors? 1, 2 and 4. So which is the highest common factor? Undoubtedly 4. So 4 is the highest common factor. So what is going to, so we found out the HCF of numerator and denominator. So the HCF is 4. So in the next step, what are we going to do? We are going to divide the numerator and the denominator by HCF. So 36 by 20. So let us divide the numerator by 4 and also the denominator by 4. So what do we get? 36 divided by 4 gives 9 and 20 divided by 4 gives 5. So 9 by 5 is its simplest form. So how do you know that 9 by 5 is a fraction in its simplest form? Because if you find out the factors of 9 and 5, you would see that they do not have any common factor other than 1. So in this way, we can express a fraction in its simplest form. Now, whenever you have to decide whether two fractions are equivalent or not, this is the best way to do that. So you just find out the fraction in its simplest form. If both of them have the same simplest form, that means they are equivalent. If not, then they are not equivalent.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.